What's up, guys? Welcome back again to your Heroclix headquarters. Today we're going to be continuing our full set review of Spider-Man Beyond Amazing with the chases. Now, I do have most of the chases, unfortunately. Most of the ones I'm missing are the first few. So, starting us off with Carnage Thor. As always, I'll put him on screen for you guys. Carnage Thor, he's 150 or 50 points. And so this is pretty much the theme of all the Carnage chases. They all have a 50-point line, and then a higher line that's like 125, 150, 175. But anyway, Thor here starts off with an 8 movement, running shot, and flight. 11 attack, 18 impervious, and 4 damage with close combat expert. 5 range triple target is pretty great. It's got the Avengers team ability, which while it currently gives you +1 movement when making a move action, we have just recently learned that it will give you now +1 whenever you attack somebody that has a team ability that you decide on at the beginning of the game. So he could potentially have a +1 attack down his whole dial because of that, so that's great. But yeah, he's got the Asgardian, Avengers, Deity, Monster, Symbiote, and Warrior keywords. Pretty much everything you want from a Thor with a symbiote. He's got improved movement to destroy blocking, which is great. I wish it was improved targeting as well, but you can't have everything. The Let There Be Carnage trait is a shared trait among all the Carnage chases, and it says plasticity shape change. When a friendly character with the symbiote keyword KOs one or more opposing characters, after resolutions heal Carnage Thor 1 click, and he may heal past his starting line this way. So you could pretty much just have a team full of Carnage chases. There's 6 of them, and they all have a 50-point line, so you could just play all 6 of them for 300 points. And as long as they're KOing stuff, they can all start healing past their starting lines and getting up to pretty ridiculous power levels there for their 50 points, right? But yeah, so that's a pretty awesome thing you can do with them. And then he's got this awesome special attack power that gives him Steel Energy and Pulse Wave. And when Carnage Thor uses Pulse Wave, if an opposing character was KO'd this turn, he deals 2 damage instead of 1. So if one of your Carnage or any other character on your team has already run up and KO'd something, then he gets a 2 damage Pulse Wave, which is pretty nuts. And this is going to be a lot better on his full 150-point dial, or maybe after he's healed up a couple clicks from KOing things, considering it'll combo with the running shot, because if you're playing him at 50 points, he is only going to have charge and close combat expert to start out with some invuln, which isn't too bad. He'll be an 11 attack for 4 damage, potentially 12 attack with the new team ability. So that's pretty good. He's also got a stop click with impervious and regen, and he's got 2 of those if you're playing him at the 150 line, or if you're just playing him at 50 and you manage to KO a couple of things, then he heals up a couple of clicks, and now he's got access to 2 stop clicks, right? And he can heal off of those as well. So I think the Carnage Thor is one of the better ones for sure, especially if you're playing him with a couple other symbiotes that can run up in there and get some KOs. Heal him up to the running shot. He can running shot Pulse Wave everybody for 2, maybe get another KO, heal past his stop click, and yeah, then he's really a force to be reckoned with. 50 points for 2 stop clicks at that point with the healing and everything is pretty nuts. So anyway, yeah, really like this piece a lot. Really need to get my hands on one of these guys. I think he's probably in the top 3 Carnage chases for sure. Up next, we have Carnage Iron Man. This one I must have because I collect Iron Mans and symbiotes. So I really want to get my hands on this one. Haven't got him yet, unfortunately, but I'm working on it. Regardless, just like the Thor, he's got 150 or a 50-point line. Improved targeting for hindering terrain is great. Oh, and of course his keywords, he's got Armor, Avengers, Monster, Scientist, Stark Industries, and Symbiote keywords. So you do have an option for all of these chases to equip them with the red or black symbiote for free. The red symbiote here gives you Blades, Claws, Fangs, and Steel Energy. And if they can already use Steel Energy, they instead heal 1 click for each damaged character. So if they've got multiple targets, they can heal multiple clicks at a time. And then you got the symbiote black that gives you Steel Energy and Stealth. And when they use Steel Energy, if a hit character is KO'd during the attack, they heal 2 clicks instead. So you got a lot of potential healing comboed with either Stealth or Blades. Gives you pretty good options there for all of these chases. But anyway, back to what this Iron Man can do. He of course has the Let There Be Carnage trait with the plasticity, shape change, and healing a click whenever something's KO'd by a symbiote character. And then he's got a trait that gives him Steel Energy. When Carnage Iron Man hits with a range attack, After resolutions, give each hit character a symbiote pod token. Power, remove a symbiote pod token from an opposing character to make a close attack targeting only that character regardless of adjacency. I think this would be so powerful if it was free. If it was a free action to remove that to make a close attack, this Iron Man would be up there with one of the best chases of the set. Unfortunately, since it's a power action, you know, you could literally just take a range action to shoot him again. So it's not really that big of a deal. Unless they try to run away from you or something, you'd be like, haha, power action, I can attack you anywhere. So, I mean, I guess later you could choose to, like, running shot on somebody else, and then maybe they forget that they have it, and you're like, let me sneak attack you from halfway across the map. I don't know. You could kind of mess with them. You can do some, you know, cool little plays with it that way, but it's not really that good. It's still just fun and interesting, but it's not, like, game-changingly powerful or anything like that. But regardless, he does have, you know, that 11 attack, energy explosion, 18 defense with this special invincible and super senses, and then 3 damage with the exploit weakness and outwit. Exploit weakness is nice to have just for his trait to make the close attacks regardless of adjacency, but otherwise it doesn't really help him out here because he's mainly making range attacks on his top dial there. For the 50-point line, though, you do get the precision strike, super senses, and outwit. And again, you can heal up past that, so you can get up to the, like, triple target energy explosion clicks pretty easily. So yeah, I mean, both of his point lines, you got running shot with an 11 attack, so that's nice, and outwit either way also. So I definitely think playing him at 50 points is the way to go. Like I said, you can easily heal him up past the start line to get to that energy explosion if you really like that. And he's got the invincible on top of the super senses as well. I mean, I do like that he has really solid attack values the whole way, and plenty of move and attack and plenty of outwit and everything. But I don't know, I just feel like he would be so much better. The improved targeting hindering is actually really nice with that outwit too. I don't want to forget to mention that. But I still just wish that the micro missile symbiote pods thing, it seems like a really cool trait that's just missing out by, like, that much. Like, he would be so much better if it was just a free action. Regardless, I still like this figure a lot. The sculpt is amazing, 10 out of 10. Looks freaking awesome. And like I said, I really want this figure. So I do love these symbiote teams, and I think playing a whole bunch of them together, the more that you have of them just makes them better. And it is just, you know, a symbiote character that has to KO something, so playing any of these characters with somebody like the prime symbiote Spider-Man, you know, it just makes them that much better, because he can easily get up there and get a couple quick KOs and get these guys healed up 1 or 2 clicks, like, super fast. So for that reason alone, I think symbiotes are a really powerful keyword right now. And I love Iron Man, and this dude's cool, and yeah, I don't know. He's maybe not the best one, but he's definitely up there. But moving on next, we do have Carnage Captain America. Again, he's got the Avengers team ability, so he can potentially get that +1 attack down the dial later on when the team ability actually changes. He does, for the 50-point line, start with the charge, 11 attack, 17 invuln, 3 damage exploit. For the 125 line, he starts with hypersonic with a 12 attack, 18 defense, and 3 damage. He does show on his card that he's got a special damage power on his first click, but that is an errata. They errated that to just get rid of it. He does not have a special damage power anywhere on his dial. So just keep that in mind if you do have the actual physical figure with you. But yeah, he's got the Avengers, Monster, Soldier, and Symbiote keywords, which, you know, pretty good keywords there. Improved targeting for characters. That's really awesome. With his 4-range triple target, that could come in handy. But yeah, Let There Be Carnage trait obviously helps him heal past his start line. Then you've got red, white, and red, and blue, and red, which gives him Quake and Steel Energy. This is a special attack power across almost his whole dial. But yeah, Quake and Steel Energy, and when Carnage Captain America makes a close attack, you may choose an unoccupied square within his range and line of fire. Carnage Captain America may target opposing characters with the attack as if he also occupied that square. So some keyword things here to look out for. So he's got Quake and he's got Steel Energy, 2 powers, good to have. When he makes a close attack, that includes when using Quake, okay, because that's a close attack still. You may choose an unoccupied square within his range and line of fire. Don't forget he has improved targeting for characters, so he can see behind characters and get right in the middle of a big cluster of them. Carnage Captain America may target opposing characters with the attack as if he also occupied that square. So this dude can actually charge into a group of characters with his improved targeting characters in 4 squares, see past them 4 squares away, target another group of characters because it's as if he also occupied that square. And, you know, Quake is going to hit every character adjacent to him. So he can actually Quake a ton of characters at one time from 2 separate locations. And if you're starting at that 50-point line, which I think obviously you should, he's going to have Exploit Weakness, which does combo with the Quake, making all the damage penetrating. So that's a lot of, you know, 2 penetrating damages to hand out to every character, essentially. He could do a ton of damage, then he also knocks them all back. And, you know, you could get a ton of knockback damage on that as well if you kind of position correctly, maybe knock him into a wall or off a ledge or something. So, yeah, this dude's damage potential is actually pretty massive if you can set it up right. But unfortunately, if they don't have a big team with a bunch of characters and maybe there's not a lot of ways to deal knockback and yada yada, if you can't set all that up perfectly, then he's just not going to do much. It's just going to be a regular charge Quake, which is fine. But anyway, then he also has combat reflexes and regen on the back half of his dial, as well as a traded leadership power that says when Carnage Captain America uses it, you may place the die on his card. If you do, this turn, when a friendly character with the symbiote keyword rolls for Blades, Claws, Fangs, before rolling, you may choose that their minimum result is equal to this die. If this die is used as a minimum result, or at the end of your turn, remove the die. So that's pretty awesome, because you could just roll for leadership, get a 5 or 6, right? Maybe, and then one of your other Carnage guys, because they probably all have Blades Claws, because any of them can have Blades Claws from the symbiote, the red symbiote. A lot of them already have it anyway, so somebody could also charge up and then just use that as their Blades roll, which is pretty nuts. So I like this guy a lot, for real. He's doing a lot of damage. He is, you know, bringing some leadership to your team. He's potentially handing out really high D6 rolls for Blades. Really cool version of Captain America. I'd love to see a special power like that on a regular Captain America also, where you could like Quake from range. We did used to, there was one I think a long time ago that did something similar. It just had giant reach equal to his range or something crazy like that. But yeah, this is just another character I still have to get my hands on because he's freaking awesome. Alright, up next, finally onto the ones that I do have here. So we have Carnage Clea, who, you know, all of these Carnage and symbiote characters, they always have such awesome sculpts. I don't know, they look so cool to me. I love symbiote characters. And yeah, this one does not disappoint either. She's more of the support character for the symbiotes. You got the Defender, Symbiote, Monster, Mystical, Ruler keywords, the Let There Be Carnage trait with the plasticity, shape change, and healing when something's KO'd. 125 or 50 points, 6 range, triple target. A lot of like triple targets with these guys. Flight, you know, for 50 points, you got Mind Control, Super Senses, and Prob, and the shape change. So just by looking at the dial here, I would say, you know, you really probably just want to run her at 50. I can't see any reason why you'd want to play her at 125 personally. Yeah, she gets +1 attack and defense, but she's not really like a main attacker. You really just want her for the Prob, the Mind Control, and some of the other cool stuff she does. So 50 points is definitely where you want to play this one, 100%. She's got, when an opposing character would be dealt damage from Carnage Clea's Mystics, instead roll a d6 and deal that character penetrating damage equal to half the result. So she can potentially deal 3 damage from her Mystics, which is pretty nuts. So I'd love to equip her with either the Soul Sword or the Violet Lantern ring, the Star Sapphire ring, because with the Star Sapphire ring, it makes the Mystics damage unavoidable if you already have Mystics team ability. So that's pretty great. And with the Soul Sword, you could choose to do an additional damage or Heroclix. So she could be doing a ton of Mystics damage or making it unavoidable. Either way, those are just two of the number one things you're going to want to put on her. And then you've got the Telekinesis, Penetrating Psychic Blast, and Steel Energy Special, which is great. So not only is she giving you some prob, she's bringing some TK as well. You got Mind Control or Penetrating Blast, so she can be doing a lot of different things. She has actually some ways to deal some damage there, but mainly she is a support piece with the TK and the prob and the perplex later on in the dial. And yeah, your opponent really doesn't want to come up and hit her because, for one, super senses and shape change is a nasty combo, but even if they do get through that, what do they get rewarded with? Potentially 3 mystics damage right back at the face. So yeah, she definitely has that whole don't even mess with me kind of vibe going on, because she can just sit there and prob stuff all day long, and your opponent has to either probably miss because of the double rollouts, or maybe commit a couple outwits and one big attack, and still potentially take like 3 penetrating damage right back for it. So for that reason, I think she is a great support piece. That's what you want your support piece to do. You don't want them to just be so weak that they just get obliterated for, there's no reason not to just go get rid of them because they're being really too useful to you. She actually makes them work for it. So yeah, she is pretty great. If you're just playing any other random game, there's probably some better support characters, but if you're trying to do like specifically just playing with all the symbiotes or something, she's really, really good. Or not even all of them, but just playing like 2 or 3 of them together, is great, because she can be healing up past her start line, get a few extra clicks of health in there, so that's awesome too. And up next for the Carnage chases, we've got Carnage Rocket, who is also pretty awesome. He's got those blasters, just starts blasting them. Very cool. Very reminiscent of the Venom Rocket. But yeah, this guy got the Guardians of the Galaxy symbiote, animal, and monster keywords. Guardian's team ability, so he can't have his combat values reduced or messed with in any way by your opponent. Of course, Let There Be Carnage trait. Improved targeting for blocking terrain is really the main reason you'd want to play this guy. Being able to shoot through walls and stuff is always going to be super useful. 7 range, triple target. Like I said, all these chases, it seems like, got triple target for their, Carnage shenanigans, which just makes giving them Symbiote Red all that much better, because they could potentially heal like 3 clicks at a time, which is pretty nuts. Not past their start line unless they KO something, but still gives them a lot of healing potential. And anyway, yeah, running shot, 11 attack, penetrating blast for 4 damage with outwit. You got the super sense shape change combo, very awesome. But you're probably still going to want to play him at the 50-point line, right? You still got prob, which is situationally more useful than outwit. And his special attack power gives him steal energy, but with close or range attacks. And then you've got the trait that whenever he KOs 1 or more opposing characters, friendly characters with the symbiote keyword modify attack and defense +1 until your next turn. So he can be upping all the stats of all your other symbiotes, which of course just makes him all that much better to play with the rest of them. They were really kind of designed to all play together, I feel like, which is pretty cool. This one I could see playing at 75 though, just for the opening 4 damage penetrating blast. That is really nice. That is some really great damage potential, and shooting through walls is really cool too. So I don't know, of all of the chases, I feel like he's the best one to play at the higher point value, and that's because his higher point value is literally only 25 points more. The rest of them, you really just want to play them at the 50 for the most part so far. But anyway, let's move on to our last Carnage chase, and that is Carnage Silver Surfer. Here, of course, the menace to society that he is. This was the one that was going for like $300 when he first came out. He's still going for a solid like $200, $250, which is pretty nuts. This guy is pretty insane though. Definitely worth the cost if you're really into, meta competitive play. This dude is one of the best attackers we have in modern age currently, so you're probably going to want to pick one of these guys up. He's got the Defender's Symbiote, Cosmic Herald, and Monster keywords. So pretty good choices there. Of course, the Power Cosmic team ability there lets him, just be protected outwit and have that willpower every turn. Let There Be Carnage trait. Again, plasticity shape change. Heal a click when a symbiote KOs something. Improved targeting elevated is so nice. It's almost as good, sometimes better, depending on the map, than like improved targeting for blocking. The cool thing about these guys, all the chases in general, This guy can see through elevated, Rocket can shoot through walls, and you've got Iron Man who can see through hindering. So between the three of them, there's not really anything that can get in their way. They can all see through something, which is great. And the Carnage Captain America can see through characters also. So between those four, you can literally see through everything. And then you've got Thor, who's another great attacker. He can pulse wave everybody. And then lastly, you've got the Clea, who's really your team support. So they make an awesome squad if you got all of them. I really want to play them all together when I get the last few. But yeah, this dude's nuts. Taking a look at that 50-point line, and we'll take a look at his actual powers here. Hypersonic speed. When Carnage Silver Surfer uses it and hits, after resolutions, he may make an attack. So he can hypersonic full speed, blast something, and then make another attack, kind of like a ranged flurry, with the hypersonic. It's pretty nuts, but that's after resolution. So that's after he finishes the second move of hypersonic. He can move somewhere else, get line of fire to some other character, and then he gets the full range, right? Because it's after resolutions, he's no longer halving his range from using the hypersonic, so he gets full range on that second attack, which is great. And then that special attack power, penetrating psychic blast, steal energy, but with close or range attacks, of course. But he's got pretty much just full dial penetrating blast at that point. Full dial hypersonic, almost all of it with the special hypersonic that lets him attack a second time. A little bit there in the middle where he just has regular hypersonic. But still, a full dial of hypersonic and penetrating blast is nuts. 6 range triple target that can see through elevation is nuts. You got the super senses to start off with on the 50 line. I mean, obviously you're playing this guy at 50. Why ever pay 175, which is 125 more points just to get 3 extra clicks of life? That would just be insane. It's so easy to heal this guy up to top click after a couple turns. It's criminal, really. So yeah, you really just want to have this dude KO a couple things, and with another symbiote KOing something, and then boom, he's already up to a freaking 12 attack penetrating blast, 19 invincible, and 4 damage with range combat expert, so he's shooting 13 for 5, which is insane. I mean, even on the 50-point line, he's already shooting 12 for 4 penetrating on 3 targets through elevated, hypersonicking, shooting twice. And I really do love to give this guy the red symbiote, though, because when he does get low, you can potentially hypersonic in, hit 3 different characters, heal 3 clicks straight up, and then maybe KO something with one of those attacks, and then heal a 4th click. So he can get a massive amount of healing super fast, even if he does get low. And, having that willpower from the Power Cosmic and being unoutwittable just makes him that much more of a crazy powerful threat. So for all those reasons, this dude is the star of the set pretty much. I think literally the only thing that comes close to him is the Prime Spider-Man, and who in my opinion is a little bit better than him, but he is definitely a force to be reckoned with. And for, his commands a great cost for good reason. There's definitely a reason this dude's like $200+. If you don't have one, I do recommend trying to get one. It is hard, but if you want to play competitively, try to get one. If you have one, then that's awesome. Good for you. All right, so that does it for the Carnage chases, and now we're on to the Avengers chases. There's kind of 2 different chase themes in this set. So starting us off here with the Avengers, we have the Ghost Spider 2099, who's doing some crazy midair web shenanigans, falling through the air. Pretty cool. But yeah, so she has actually a pretty interesting dial. I do like this one quite a bit, I think. She's got the Spider-Man team ability, of course, Avengers, Spider-Man Family Future, Lone Vigilante of the Future. At the beginning of the game, roll 2d6 and give Ghost Spider 2099 a number of Vigilante tokens equal to half the result. Free, remove a Vigilante token to move Ghost Spider 2099 up to her speed value. So that's nuts. At the beginning of the game, you could get between 1 to 3 Vigilante tokens, and just for a free action, you can remove one to move her up to her speed value. She only has a 75-point line, so you're going to be able to move up to 8 squares for free, and then she could use Charge to move another 4 to hit somebody. So that's 12 square reach by herself. It's pretty nuts. And she also has the Avengers trait, which is a shared trait between all of these chases. And it says, when Ghost Spider 2099 hits, after resolutions, you may move all friendly characters with this trait up to 1 square. So she could not only move 12 squares and attack if she hits, she could then move 1 square for free, back up into some hindering or something like that, get away from them if need be. Although she does have 18 combat reflexes to start out with, So you might just want to go ahead and sit right next to him there. That's fine too. But then we'll take a look at her special damage power here. It gives her shape change and outwit. When Ghost Spider 2099 uses shape change and succeeds, or uses outwit and targets an opposing character, after resolutions, give her a vigilante token. So you do have that ability to get more vigilante tokens throughout the game, and it's really cool to, like, once she's double tokened, she can just kind of take a free action to run away, and you can go find your Aunt May or someone with support to just heal her back up if she's taken some damage. So yeah, she's pretty well defended, I think, with the 18 combat reflexes and shape change. And then you got super senses on a 6. And then, you know, if she takes a hit, then she lands on super duper senses there with the team ability and the regular senses. And again, you could still just like full move 8 squares, punch somebody with close combat expert and or quake, and you could move a square for free and sidestep. All of that would be great if she also had like improved movement characters. That would be amazing. I do wish she had a little something like that to make her a little bit better, but she's a very mobile close combat attacker, and I do like that a lot. So for that reason, I think she's pretty good. Up next, we've got Hawk Gwen. So good old Hawk Gwen here. This is one of my favorites as well. I don't know, I like all the Gwenders chases. They're pretty cool. They all do some pretty fun and interesting things. The sculpt on this one is really nice. I love that jumping through the air pose. But this one's got, of course, Spider-Man team ability, Avengers, Spider-Man family, martial artist, bass guitar, keeping the beat, willpower. When Hawk Gwen hits after resolutions, action total +1 this turn. Traded willpower is always nice, and whenever she hits, you get action total +1. That's actually amazing, because, you know, if you have enough characters on your team that can really make use of an extra action, you could really heavily out-action your opponent. Just you having leadership and her hitting a few attacks, you know, you're averaging 5 actions a turn, and that's a lot. That's just ups your damage potential every turn. That's really amazing. I really love anything that can up my action total, especially, you know, the only other thing I can think of off the top of my head, like in modern age at least, that can give you another action total +1 is the Spirit of the Game bystander. So, you know, playing like all these Gwenders together, or just her on like an Avengers team or Spider-Man family team, both of those are great. Playing them with the Spirit of the Game gets you another +1 action total if you're on a theme team. So you could potentially be getting like +3 actions a turn with her, Spirit of the Game, and a leadership. So, you know, rocking 6 actions a turn is pretty nuts. I'll say that much. So that's something to look out for, I think. Anything that gives you that extra action is really useful. Of course, the Gwenders trait gives her the ability to move a square whenever she hits, or not just herself, actually. If you're playing a bunch of these Gwenders together, you can move all of them a square after one of them hits. So you got a lot of extra mobility there. And yeah, it's just 7 range, triple target. 7 range is really long nowadays. 8 movement running shot, 12 attack, 18 energy shield, and 3 damage enhancement. I love enhancement, obviously, and the 12 attack is great. You love to see that. But then she's got trick arrows on her special attack power that gives her free, choose one to use this turn, energy explosion, incapacitate, penetrating psychic blast, or precision strike. 4 very great options, especially with triple target. You know, you could triple target incap, triple target energy explosion. Those are great. If somebody's got reducers, penetrating blast or precision strike are great. Or if they got senses, the precision strike is great. So it really gives you a great toolbox there to work with, depending on the situation. Makes her a great attacker, I think, in my opinion. You know, you could equip her with something like pumpkin bombs that gives her energy explosion. That's just in this set as well. So that way you could either choose energy explosion to get a 3 damage energy explosion, right? Because you can already use it at that point. Or you could choose penetrating blast or precision strike. So the energy explosion, you know, does penetrating damage, or you can't be reduced below 1, whatever you need really for the situation. So I do love that. And yeah, I really think she's great. She's one of my favorite Gwender chases for sure, because that extra action total, the enhancements helping out your team, 7 range triple target with that pick of power is super useful. So yeah, and the willpower, her own willpower can help keep her going. So she's got a lot going on, and a great sculpt too. So for all those reasons, she, like I said, is one of my favorite chases. And up next is the Inguineable Hulk. who I'll say it again, another one of my favorite chases. She's really cool. I just like a lot of the Gwenger's chases. I don't know, I know they're kind of hit or miss for some people, but I do think they are pretty great, and this one's awesome. This is definitely the one you want to switch to if you have the uncommon Gwen Stacy, because I guess that's something I should have been pointing out maybe with the other ones, but just remember the uncommon Gwen Stacy can swap into any of these Gwenger's chases on their last click, and this is the best one by far. So first of all, she's got the Avengers, Spider-Man family, and Brute keywords, Spider-Man team ability. She's got lead vocals, frontman, gives her flurry. During the first attack of an opponent's turn, if the Inguineable Hulk is not a target, modify the attacker's attack and damage -1. So that's something to keep in mind for sure. You can kind of keep her in the back a little bit for the first couple turns just to make sure that they're not targeting her first. And then they're going to get that -1 attack and damage. And then you can charge her in there with the traded flurry and do some real damage. A Gwenger's trait, of course, help move them all square. 125 or 75 points. I think, of course, 75 is the sweet spot there, but you do get a lot of extra value there for the extra 50 points, like 4 more clicks of health, all with 8 movement charge, 11 attack super strength, 3 damage, close combat expert, and her special defense power is pretty nuts. Gives her impervious, and the Inguineable Hulk can reduce penetrating damage, and it's protected outwit. So that's insane, because impervious that can reduce penetrating is great enough as it is, and then tack on the protected outwit just means there's almost nothing you can do to get through that. Precision strike is actually your best bet, just to know that it can't be reduced below 1. But otherwise, if you roll that 5 or 6 on imperv, you're not taking any damage. There's no way. Or pulse wave is also the other best way to get through that. But again, you're only dealing 1 that way also. So she's got a really strong defense power. And the traded flurry with the super strength and close combat expert, she's got a lot of damage potential up close. She's going to have a 12 attack for most of her dial, for 4 damage for most of that as well. But on that last click, you'll notice 12 attack super strength, 5 damage close combat expert, meaning she can charge flurry with a 13 for 6. It's just insane, honestly. And you're really only going to see that for sure if you're playing the Gwen Stacy uncommon. If that was like a stop click on her last click, she would be so incredibly powerful. But yeah, I really, really like her a lot. Again, one of my favorite chases. She has so much damage potential, and she can reduce the damage potential of your opponent if they're not attacking her first. So if they're not paying attention to that, she can provide a lot of value that way for your whole team. And otherwise, she just gets in there and she wrecks faces, which is what you want a Hulk to do. I would have liked to see maybe a little improved movement for blocking or something, but hey, you can't have everything, and she's already doing a ton as it is. So again, for those reasons, one of my favorite chases. Up next is Captain Gwen America, and although she's not horrible, I'll just start off by saying I think she's my least favorite. Of all the Gwengers, maybe all the chases in general, she just leaves a little something to be desired, in my opinion. She's more of a, team-friendly support character, which is always fine, but we'll just take a look here. So, of course, she's got Spider-Man team ability, Avengers, Spider-Man family, soldier keywords. She's got the rhythm guitar power chords. She's got leadership, and when she uses it and succeeds, she may also remove an action token from a friendly character that shares a keyword with her from anywhere on the map. So that's not bad. That's pretty great. Leadership and token removal from anywhere on the map is great. And I will say that you could get a lot of value from her 35-point line. If I'm going to play her at all, it's probably going to be 35 points. I don't see myself paying 75. As much as I like the 19 defend on that top dial, I don't think it's worth the extra 40 points for a few clicks of life and +1 to the defend. If I want a 19 defend, I'd rather play her for 35 and give her the Captain Carter shield that's just going to give everybody +1, defending them up to a 19 that way. That's going to be great. She's also got the Gwenger's trait, of course. And yeah, then she's got charge, running shot, and stealth. And I mean, she's going to start with that either way, with an 8 movement, 10 attack, precision strike, and 3 damage with outwit. So the fact that none of her other stats change at all, really just the defense. I don't know, like I said, she's just like, man, why would you ever play her at 75? I think I'm just being a little hard on her because her 75 line is so much worse than the 35. The 35 is actually pretty great, though. You know, you got charge, running shot, and stealth. You got 10 attack, precision strike, 18 defend, 3 damage, outwit, leadership, and can potentially remove an action token from anywhere on the map. And she's got super senses on a 6. And, you know, if she takes a hit, you know, you got close combat expert to do some pretty good damage still, but... yeah, I mean, she's doing a lot with the defend, outwit, and leadership, you know, combo and the stealth. So I just feel like Captain Carter for 35 points was doing more, although she was a prime. So yeah, I'll cut her some slack there. She's not a prime. But yeah, I mean, she's not bad. I would play her at 35 points. I think she's definitely playable at 35 points. She's going to bring a lot to the team that way. I can't say it enough. Don't play her at 75. I don't think the +1 is worth it, in my opinion. If you're going to play her at 35. All right, and up next for the Avengers, we got another one of my personal favorites, the Iron Gwen. And epic sculpt there, flying around. And I think what's really important to point out is she does have a keyboard on her person. On her back, she's got a keyboard, which it took me... You know, I saw a lot of pictures of her and I never noticed that, but she does have that keyboard because she does have a trait here, which gives her the keyboards creating synthesized harmonies. Because the Avengers are also a band, if you didn't already realize that. You know, the Captain America's shield was a guitar, and the Hawk Gwen's bow is like a bass guitar that opens up or something, and then the Hulk is the lead singer or whatever. So she's the keyboardist. So they're all a band, which is pretty hilarious. But yeah, she's got free, choose one to use until your next turn, empower, enhancement, or perplex. So I mean, that's great. I love that. Those are 3 of my favorite powers personally. Empower, enhancement, or perplex. So depending on your situation, you can either perplex your defense up, you can perplex your attack up, you can empower the Inguineable Hulk for her flurry, you could enhance, you know, Hawk Gwen for her ranged attacks. You know, whatever you find yourself in, whatever situation, she's going to be doing something useful there. Of course, she's got the Avengers, Spider-Man family, armor, and scientist keywords. I forgot to mention that. But then she also has, of course, the Avengers trait. And taking a look at her dial here, though, 100 points or 50 points. Both are fine, in my opinion. You got 100 points, does give you the 6 range, you know, 8 movement, running shot, and flight, 11 attack, penetrating blast, 18 invuln, and 4 damage. With the special damage power here, which is going to give her probability control. And when Iron Gwen uses it, after all rerolls and replacements, increase or decrease the attack roll result by +1 or -1. Wow, that's amazing. I love that. Prob control that after everything's been said and done, you can still plus or -1 for the final result. That's really great, really, really useful. And I'm kind of surprised. I feel like people kind of sleep on Iron Gwen a little bit, you know. She's doing a lot of really interesting stuff here, and I feel like nobody's talking about her at all. From what I've seen, I haven't seen anybody say, wow, she's so amazing. I think she's pretty freaking amazing. I mean, 100 points might be a bit much, but, you know, she is going to still be a solid attacker with the 11 penetrating blast for 4 damage. I probably wouldn't play her at 100 competitively because she's still pretty decent little secondary attacker. You still got sidestep, 10 attack, pen blast. But for 50 points, she's doing a lot of really good support stuff. Between being able to choose perplex, empower, or enhancement every turn as you need, and having that amazing probability control that can still plus or -1 the result at, you know, after all is said and done. Those are 2 very, very powerful effects in my opinion. And she can still, you know, get a 3 damage penetrating shot in there, carry somebody around with flight and sidestep. I think for 50 points, she's doing a lot for you. Like I said, 100 points is playable. Maybe not the best, but on like a more fun team, certainly playable. And yeah, I really like her a lot. She does a lot of really cool stuff. And I think people should pay a little more attention to her. Because I definitely can't wait to use her more. I've got a lot of teams already kind of in my head about how I want to throw her onto some teams. So very awesome figure in my opinion. Alright, and last but not least for the chases is the last one that I don't have. And that is the Gwen, Goddess of Thunder. So, of course, she is coming in at either 85 or 55 points. So pretty decent either way there. Spider-Man team ability, 5 range. You got 10 movement with flight and running shot, 12 attack, 18 invincible, 4 damage with prob. She's got a trait, lead guitar, face melting solo, which gives you pulse wave. When Gwen, Goddess of Thunder, uses it, friendly characters gain safeguard pulse wave during this action. So you gotta love that. Pulse wave that's not gonna hurt your friendly characters. That's super useful. And then you got, of course, the Avengers trait to move everybody around. And then she's got the special attack power that gives you Thunder and Lightning, Precision Strike, and Knockback. So yeah, that lead guitar is a trait thing. That Pulse Wave is a trait. That's not even her special attack power. She's literally just got traded Pulse Wave, her entire dial, which is pretty nuts. Full dial prob control is pretty nuts too. I think, playing her at 85... for, either 12 attack, 4 damage, or 12 attack, with the pulse wave and the knockback is super useful there too. She's doing a lot of damage there. I think it's very useful for the 85 point line, very playable. But for 50 points, you're just missing out a little bit. You're going down to toughness from invincible. You're minusing 1 most of your stats there, but you're saving 30 points. So if you really need to save that 30 points, I think that 55 point line is also super playable. You still get 10 movement, running shot, 11 attack with precision strike, knockback, and pulse wave, and the prob and everything. So again, I think she's really, really playable at either point value. Again, she's one of my favorites of the chases. Also, probably the second best choice for what to go into with the Gwen Stacy, because that last click, she's got charge, 12 attack quake, 17 invincible, 4 damage with prob, and she's still got the pulse wave traded. So she's still doing a lot of stuff there. I definitely think the second best one to go into for Gwen Stacy uncommon. But that's it for the chases, you guys. I do want to quickly talk about also the last 3 figures we have here. The number 99, the number 100, and the number 98. Sorry, 98, 99, and 100 Spider-Mans. We got the Miles Morales, the regular Peter Parker Spider-Man, and you got the Negative Zone Spider-Man. These are both coming from the Play at Home kits, and this one is coming out of the Release Day OP kit. So I did already kind of talk about these guys in my unboxing, and that was my unboxing with the starter set also, which I go over all the starter set figures there. So if you want my opinions on those, just go and watch that boxing as well. But I want to quickly go over these guys again here as well. So starting us off with this Miles Morales here. He's got Avengers, Champions, Spider-Man Family Ultimates, Spider-Man Family and Team Player, team abilities there. The Wall Crawler trait for the Leap Climb and the free place him in a square of different elevation within 4 in line of fire. Always useful. He's coming in at 55 points, and he's got this very interesting Venom Punch trait, which gives him Incapacitate, and when he uses it after resolutions, deal a single hit character damage equal to their printed damage value. So I think that's pretty insane, the fact that he could incap somebody with like a 4 or 5 damage and just be dealing their own damage value back to them. So the bigger character you go up against with this, the more damage he's going to do, which is great. Otherwise, stealth, poison, super senses, super duper senses, really, and you got close combat expert. Pretty solid dial there. And then you got the charge, combat reflexes, and prob on the back half. So, pretty good either way, I think. I just really do like that special incap he's got that can potentially do a whole lot of damage against the right target. But up next, we've got this Spider-Man. I really like this Spider-Man. I already talked about it earlier in the commons and uncommons, but we see this sculpt a lot. The other ones are a lot brighter, red and blue. I kind of like this one. It's a little more like that deep red and kind of a darker blue. So I really like the colors on this one. At least we get a different paint job for this one. But this one is actually one of my favorite Spider-Mans in the set too. He's got Spider-Man Family, Reporter, Scientist keywords, Spider-Man Team Ability, of course. The Wall Crawler trait for that mobility is great. Oh no, what a time to run out of web fluid. I love that. I always loved when that happened. I don't know. It just gives you that little moment of like, oh no, is he actually going to like fall and get hurt or something? Maybe the bad guy's going to get him because he can't web him up. It gives you that extra drama in the moment. But you got the Incapacitate and at the beginning of the game, give Spider-Man 4 web fluid tokens. Free, remove a web fluid token to make an attack using Incapacitate. So you got 4 free uses of Incap during the game. So because of that trait, I think this guy is the absolute best character to use the web shooters, because you can just put them on him for free, gives him Incapacitate, and when this character uses it until your next turn, hit characters can't have their action tokens removed except by clearing. So I think that's super useful with free Incapacitate. So you definitely want to be giving that to him if you don't already have it on somebody else, but I think he's definitely the one you want to put it on. He's got 7 movement hypersonic, 4 range double target, 11 attack, precision strike, 17 super senses, 2 damage with perplex. It just all lines up perfectly to me. You can perplex up his movement or range or attack as needed to give him a 12 attack, precision strike, double target, Incap, and then free Incap on top of it, and then they can't remove their tokens except by clearing, so it forces them to clear. They can't use willpower or leadership or anything. So I really, really like this Spider-Man. Lots of mobility, you know, decent damage output because of the precision strike, and the super duper senses helps keep him alive for only 50 points. This is one of my favorite Spider-Mans to come out of this set. This is one of my favorite Spider-Mans in a long time. This is like my go-to budget Spider-Man right now, for sure. Except for maybe the cool new pointy ones. Those are really good too, but I like this one a lot, and I would highly suggest trying him out because he's a ton of fun. But then we also have the awesome negative Spider-Man. So this is like the suit from the video game, and if it happened in the comics, you know, I'm sure it probably did at some point. I don't remember off the top of my head. We got Negative Zone, Spider-Man Family, Reporter, Scientist keywords. Passing through the distortion field once per turn when an opposing character uses phase teleport. After resolutions, you may roll a d6. On a 4 through 6, that character can't use defense powers until the end of your next turn. So very situational, but very powerful. If somebody phase teleports up on you, they can't use defense powers. Potentially, 50-50 chance they can't. So that's, you know, pretty awesome in the right situation. But even without that, he does have Charge, Flurry, and Sidestep with improved movement characters on his movement power there with a 10 movement, which gives him a lot of mobility. You got 11 attack, super strength, 18 super senses with the team ability, super duper senses, and 3 damage of perplex. For 75 points, I think he's very solid, a very solid version of Spider-Man. That's pretty much all he's got going on, but a very good close combat attacker with the Charge, Flurry, Sidestep, super strength, you know, perplex, and a little bit of team player there with that cool phasing thing to turn off defense powers. So I like him a lot. He's very interesting, a little situational, but very good. So that's going to do it for all the chases and all of the extra figures as well. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you smash that like button. It does help me out a lot. Don't forget to click that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. And if you guys would like to help support the channel even more, don't forget to check the links in the description for our Patreon so you can see your name here in the credits with all these other awesome people. And yeah, that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, this has been Heroclix Headquarters, signing off.